If you're new to candle making, one of the first things you're gonna worry about is how you're gonna melt your wax. And if you don't wanna spend a bunch of money on getting a big wax melter, especially if this is just a hobby, you may be wondering about your options. In this video, I have 4 different ways that you can use to melt your candle wax. And for those of you who don't know, my name is Ruth, owner of Serene Aromas, which is a small candle and self-care business, and I'm here teaching you some insights about candle making. Let's get right to it. First is the cheapest, longest, and most annoying process, at least to me. It is the microwave method. You basically use a microwave-safe container like a Pyrex and melt your wax in intervals of 30 seconds to 1 minute in the microwave. You can see that it started melting, but the issue with this is you have to constantly stir your wax, which means you have to constantly pay attention to it, which means you won't be able to do any other tasks. Then there's the issue of the wax not melting evenly. As you can see right here, the bottom started melting. Not only that, the wax takes a long time to melt in the microwave because you're using intervals of 30 seconds to 1 minute to start melting. And then I mentioned it's only good for small batches of candles. So if you're making large batches, this is not for you. This brings me to the second method, which is also known as the most common method for melting wax. That would be the double broiler method. You may have heard of this method where you pour water into a deep pot about a quarter to half full while placing a heat-proof container inside of that pot with the wax inside of it. Now you turn on your stove and let this melt. Now this is slower than a wax melter, but it is great for even heating and great for beginners. Not only that, all you need is a heat-proof container and an old pot. A quick tip if you're using this method though is not overfilling the pot, because then your water will be spilling and the container will fall over. You can see the wax has fully melted in a matter of seconds, and depending on how much you need, it will take longer of course. But you didn't have to wash this the whole time. You just let it melt and you can stir just occasionally. Now, even though those were the cheapest methods, I'm gonna introduce you guys to my favorite methods, which are the wax melters. If you have a little bit of change, this mini wax melter is a lifesaver for small batches. You simply add your wax to the inside, turn it on. You'll be able to tell it's on by this right here. And let the wax melt as you would in a big wax melter. The only difference is that you can only melt a small amount of wax at a time. You can see the wax fully melted in just a few seconds, and the next thing you have to do is just add a container and open the latch for the wax to come out. Now, my all-time favorite has been the big wax melter for a couple of reasons. Using this wax melter means that I can melt much more wax than the other methods from before. So basically, I can make way more than one candle at a time. Not only that, the temperature control on here lets me set a specific temperature so the wax melts evenly without the risk of burning. Then there's the nozzle where I can easily pour however much I need once the wax has melted. This is extremely convenient for moments when I'm making more than one scent at a time because I can use several pitchers. But my all-time favorite thing about this wax melter is that in just a few minutes, I'm able to melt pounds of wax and even add more once the first batch has melted, since the wax shrinks and the capacity is so big. So in my opinion, the big wax melter is a great investment for small businesses, but the double broiler method is great for beginners. All right guys, those are the 4 methods that I've used for melting my candle wax. I want to know which one of those methods you've tried and which ones you'll be using moving forward. Let me know in the comments below, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.